4 students, a guilty plea. Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin. That answer settled guilt. It did not reveal the path through this 3-level house or why 4 students were chosen. I am Demi Thorne, and this is Darkly Retold. Bryan Kohberger admitted responsibility. No jury tested the public evidence. The official university remembrance describes 4 students with different paths. Madison was a senior from Coeur d'Alene studying marketing. Kaylee was a senior from Rathdrum studying general studies. Kaylee's sister Olivia remembered that their story had been intertwined long before college.
They did absolutely everything together. First dates, first boyfriends, graduated high school. They had their first heartbreaks together.
The case file places Madison and Kaylee in one room. Olivia's memory restores the relationship that a floor plan cannot show. Xana was a junior from Post Falls studying marketing. A friend identified by ABC as Iva described what Xana brought into other people's lives.
Her biggest joy in life was to be happy and to make others happy.
Ethan was a freshman from Mount Vernon studying recreation, sport, and tourism management. His fraternity brother Peter said Ethan's first impression was not the person his friends came to know.
My first impression of Ethan was he's just this huge dude that you wouldn't really approach, but as soon as you really got to know him, you realize that he's like one big teddy bear.
Those memories are not forensic evidence. They are why the evidence must be handled without turning 4 people into labels on a diagram. To understand the public record, we do need the house. But this model has one strict rule: it can orient us. It cannot manufacture the evidence never established. Start at the bottom. An official police scene narrative describes stairs rising from that level into a small living area on the 2nd floor. BF's bedroom was on the east side of the bottom floor. On the 2nd floor, Xana's bedroom was to the west. DM's bedroom was on the southeast side, beside the kitchen and beside a different staircase climbing to the 3rd floor. The affidavit and a later defense scene report placed Xana and Ethan in the west bedroom on the 2nd floor, and Madison and Kaylee in Madison's room on the 3rd. Defense model measured roughly 77 feet between the centers of those bedrooms when the connecting stairs were included. The number illustrates the vertical separation. It does not establish who moved first. According to the affidavit, DM was in her 2nd floor room when a masked figure passed and moved toward the rear sliding door. Police later recorded that kitchen slider ajar. That gives us a witness-described direction and a later door condition. It does not prove the point of entry, the final exit threshold, or the order of attacks on the 2 floors. The arrest affidavit used a broad homicide window of roughly 4 a.m. to 4:25 a.m. A later court order described the alleged offense window more narrowly, about 4:07 to 4:20. Those are different ranges from different stages of the case. Within the broader window, the affidavit records a DoorDash delivery around 4 a.m. and phone activity indicating Xana was likely awake and using TikTok at about 4:12. At about 4:17, the affidavit describes distorted audio on a neighboring camera, a possible voice or whimper, then a thud, with a dog barking. We do not have grounds to assign that description to a speaker, room, floor, or exact act, and we will not recreate it as sound. These times bracket a terrible interval. They do not turn it into a verified step-by-step sequence. Outside the house, 3 trails converge: a car, a phone, and DNA. Each answers a different question and each has a limit. First, the car. Investigators describe 3 earlier passes, an arrival around 4:04, and a high-speed departure around 4:20. The payoff was a trail of sightings, not a continuous recording. A court order says investigators link separate cameras by time, direction, proximity, and appearance. WSU query then identified a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra registered to Kohberger. The judge allowed same vehicle opinions for trial, but left their weight to the jury that the plea removed. Next, the phone. 2 public records differ on the network stop time, about 2:47 in the affidavit, 2:54 and 45 seconds in a later state analysis, but both show communication resuming around 4:48. That creates a gap, not a location. The record does not establish its cause, and network absence is not GPS proof of presence inside the house. Finally, DNA. The court record shows a sequence, not a magic leap from sheath to suspect. Single source male STR profile from the sheath produced no Cody's hit. Genetic genealogy later supplied Kohberger's name as an investigative tip. Family trash DNA supplied an intermediate biological father link. Only after a warrant-authorized buccal swab did investigators make the direct STR comparison recorded by the court. The court recorded a likelihood ratio of 5.37 octillion against an unrelated person. That number addresses the profile source. It does not timestamp when the DNA arrived or map movement through the house. State expert considered direct transfer more likely, while acknowledging that available technology could not conclusively determine when the DNA was deposited or whether transfer was direct or indirect. That opinion was prepared for a trial that never happened. By summer 2025, the question was no longer whether prosecutors could assemble these strands. They had. The remaining question was how a jury would weigh their gaps, limits, and competing expert interpretations. Then the plea removed the jury. The signed factual basis admits unlawful entry with intent to murder and the deliberate, premeditated killings of Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. Its single page does not state a motive, a victim selection theory, an entry point, or an attack order. The agreement records waivers of a jury trial, appeal, and a Rule 35 sentence reduction motion. The judgment imposed 4 consecutive fixed life sentences without parole, plus 10 consecutive years for burglary. Idaho courts marks the criminal case closed. One defense expert proposed a third-floor first attack sequence. The competing expert record did not establish that order. A state expert concluded that blood associated with the third-floor victims was transferred to lower-level stair and half-wall areas after they were injured, but that did not identify who carried it or complete the sequence. Responsibility is settled. Those expert questions are not. Saying both is not a contradiction. It is the difference between an admission and a trial record that was never completed. After sentencing, Idaho State Police investigator Lieutenant Darren Gilbertson was asked what investigators had found connecting Kohberger to the 6 people who lived inside 1122 King Road.
So we have never, to this date, found a single connection between him and any of the 4 victims or the 2 surviving roommates.
Is an official investigative statement about what the investigation found. It is not a court ruling that unknown contact was impossible. It leaves the selection of the house and its occupants without a verified public explanation. At sentencing, Judge Stephen Hippler drew the line between the certainty the plea created and the answer it did not.
As we sit here today, this case is ending, and we are now certain who committed these unspeakable acts of evil. But we don't know, and what we may never know is why.
The judge's words are the honest ending of the procedural story: certainty about responsibility, no verified public motive, and no completed trial account to fill the gap. The house can be oriented bottom floor, second floor, third floor, 2 stair connections, bedrooms on different levels. The night can be bracketed by times. The car, phone, and DNA records can be traced. None of those systems should become a substitute for the people whose lives they describe. Responsible reconstruction does not solve an uncertainty with a smoother animation or a darker adjective. It names what is fact, what was alleged, what an expert interpreted, and what remains unknown. Then it gives the final word back to the 4 people at the center. Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin. The university remembered their deaths as a loss borne not only by 4 families, but by friends, students, employees, and a community still carrying their names. The criminal case is closed. Their stories are not.